Hey guys, how's it going? Yesterday I posted a video asking for you guys to submit questions to me for me to answer today, and it didn't even take 12 hours and I already have over 3 sheets of questions to answer, so I already took down the video, and if this goes well I hope to do another one really soon, and those of you who haven't gotten a chance to ask your questions will get a chance then. This is actually really cool because it gives me a chance to explain to you guys exactly how I feel about certain things, my opinion on certain things, and it's going to be all completely unedited, so if I screw up, I screw up, whatever. I feel like that way there I can actually get my opinion out and all that stuff. Considering some of the names are really hard to pronounce or just ununderstandable, I'm going to try and post their name like right here if possible. Along with the question maybe. I'm not really 100% sure. I'll see which way is the easiest to do it. But yeah, I'm just going to jump into it now and try my best to answer the questions as thoroughly and as accurately as I possibly can. So yeah, just sit back and relax, and I'm going to try to answer all these questions. So the first one comes from Girl Gamer Arrow, who is my current girlfriend at the moment. She asks, why did you start making videos for YouTube and who inspired you? Well, I think that this is something that I kind of mentioned a couple times before. Making videos was something I always wanted to do. I always wanted to make different types of videos, whether it be music videos like I have in the past, or game collection videos like the ones that you see all the time that I post, or the ones similar to Pete Doors and all that stuff. But it was mainly when it was around the time me and my ex broke up. We ended up getting into all sorts of arguments and just nothing felt right anymore. And I started going on to YouTube and watching really cool game collections and all this stuff because I felt at the time that getting over that kind of stuff, I would need something tangible to kind of just make me happy for the moment. So going out and getting stuff like buying new games and stuff like that, or working to get new games and all that, was kind of what made me happy. And I wanted to see what collections other people had to kind of inspire me. So I went out and I started watching a couple YouTubers, mainly Pete Dore, Happy Console Gamer, that stuff there, and that's pretty much what inspired me to start making videos on YouTube. So yeah, that's how it all started. The next question's from God's Dark Fist. He said, would you prefer your girlfriend to be a gamer or not, and why? Well, right now my girlfriend is a gamer, so if I said no, she would probably kick my ass. But to me, it really doesn't matter. It's more or less about the person. Normally when I tend to date somebody, they normally don't stay like anti-gamer for long. I find that a lot of people who aren't into gaming always can find something in gaming that they like. So for an example, one of my exes was like, she read books all the time. She was really into stories. So then when I started telling her the story to Final Fantasy X or The Darkness or something like that, immediately she started to show more interest, and before you knew it, well, she was into games kind of like me. So yeah, I don't really prefer one or the other, but I mean, I guess it's always cool to have a girlfriend that's a gamer, so I'm glad mine is. The next one comes from Suker World Gaming. I believe that's how it's pronounced. He says, which one is better, the PSP or the DS? And he also has a second question, but we'll get to that later. I'm not too heavily into handhelds. Personally, I have a bigger PSP collection than I do for a DS, but that doesn't mean I think the PSP is better. I remember back when they were first conceptualized, I really adored the PSP because I was just wondering what it was capable of. But now that we've seen both systems, both of them have a fantastic game library for the types of genres that they were going for. If I had to pick one, to be honest, I probably wouldn't choose either. I would find it too hard. Like, I have an original DS. Like, I don't have the DS Lite or any of that stuff. I have the big clunky silver ones, and I haven't upgraded ever since. So I mean, I enjoy games on it, like Super Mario 64, like, that game was fantastic. But then on the PSP, you know, games like Final Fantasy VII's Crisis Core, right? I mean, that was good too, so I can't really choose one. His next question is, what do you think is the most overrated game in the world? Well, I think that more or less goes by generation and stuff like that. Currently, at the moment, I find that Modern Warfare 2 is probably the most overrated game. Like, and that's not necessarily because it's like a bad game and people are calling it good. No, I find Modern Warfare 2 is an awesome game. I just think that the amount of like publicity and stuff it gets still to this day is just a ridiculous amount, like, for what the game does. Like, sure, it has a really fun online multiplayer and all this stuff, but there's games that are coming out nowadays that are like completely revolutionary or like have fantastic storylines, and it's rather unfortunate that Modern Warfare kind of still gets all the attention it gets when there's all these other great games out there that aren't being experienced. However, saying that, I don't believe it's the most overrated game of all time. I believe that the most overrated game of all time is, here comes the hate mail, Halo. Because I played Halo, I had a chance to play through the first one and the second one. I didn't beat them, I got like halfway through. But even to me, it just seemed like a pretty generic shooter. And maybe that's because I've seen all the shooters of today and then went back to play Halo. But to me, it's not as special as everybody else makes it to be. So to me, Halo is definitely the most overrated game of all time. The next question is from PaperGamer09. He says, why did you come up with the name Locke Downe? This is another thing I explained a long time ago in my talents video. I've actually been working on I've been working on my own game, my own story, and just give me 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Like I said, I've been working on my own game for like 5 years now, and this was long before Sega announced that whole Resonance of Fate or whatever the game's called, and it was called End of Eternity. And I have all sorts of like artwork and stuff in here. I know you can probably barely see it, but all sorts of artwork and paperwork and all sorts of stuff in here. And there's another book and another book, and Josh and I have been working on it for years. And when we first started off, we created this character named Locke. And he didn't originally have a last name. His name was just Locke. And as we expanded, he became one of the coolest characters in the whole franchise. And then one day, he said, Josh said to me, he's like, we need a last name for Locke just for story purposes right now. Because, you know, something like a business card, he needed his last name on it. And I was trying to be clever at the time. And I was like, oh, whatever, just put Downe. Because, you know, Downes is like a real last name. And I was just like, at the time, we were just like, okay, whatever, we'll change it later. And we never did. And now the name has become such a habit for us that changing it now would just seem, you know, like weird, right? Like out of place. So, yeah, so his name was Locke Downe, and he's like my personal favorite character from this story that we've been working on. So, instead of, you know, taking names like Cloud Strife 117 or something like that, I decided I was going to take a name that nobody else was going to use, which was Locke Downe from our game, End of Eternity. So that's how I came up with the name.